Welcome everyone. My name is Sean, and today I want to talk about what is going on at 7-Eleven locations in the city of Oakland. There have been a number of instances, specifically at 7-Eleven, of criminality, of armed robbers, of people getting killed, and it is worthy of discussion because now we're in a situation where within the same week, 2 different people were murdered at 7-Eleven locations separated by a lake in Oakland, and in this second murder, the murder of a beloved security guard in the neighborhood, they ended up not releasing the suspect description to the public, despite the fact that the suspect is still on the loose. He's still out there. Somebody who murdered somebody over the stuff that they were stealing from 7-Eleven is free in the streets, and the Oakland police don't want you guys out there looking out for him. Now, we're going to talk about this, but before we do, I want to say thank you to everyone who signed up over at actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay?
And thank you to the podcast listeners, Spotify, Apple, and Google's podcasting platform.
Oakland, where police say a security guard working inside a 7-Eleven was killed last night during a robbery. That's the second deadly shooting at an Oakland 7-Eleven this week. Monday, somebody was killed in the Lake Merritt area, and last night's incident was across the lake at Harrison and Bay.
So like I said in the open of this segment, there are 2 different murders that occurred at 7-Elevens within a 7-day period. One occurred on Friday night, the other occurred on Monday, which means that 2 different people were murdered at 7-Eleven over the course of 4 days. Now, one guy was a civilian, he was pumping gas, the other was a security guard, beloved by the community. That's the one we're going to focus on today. And unfortunately, every step of the way of this story, things are going to get worse, so I need you guys to prepare yourself for the ever-compounding bad news related to this story.
Police say there are more than 110 homicides in Oakland so far this year. The latest victim is a beloved security guard. His daughter came to the scene and broke down on the sidewalk. An emotional and gut-wrenching scene in front of 7-Eleven. A young woman devastated over the killing of her father.
My mom's dead too.
She goes by the name Snow and says the security guard was 59-year-old James Johnson. I was interviewing a longtime customer when we heard screams in the background.
I'm talking to James all the time, you know. He's a good person. I'm very sad because I don't see no anymore James.
People were walking past her, so I went up to check on her to make sure she was okay.
So I'm realizing that I should have gave a warning about that particular section of the video because it is incredibly gut-wrenching to hear the daughter of the victim of this vicious homicide crying and screaming in the background. Obviously, she came to the location where her father was killed and broke down. If you heard her, she actually said her mother died too. This is also a recent death, and it's absolutely tragic in every way, and I just want to point out that this is the consequence of soft on crime policies. This is the consequences of somebody like Pamela Price giving repeat offenders chance after chance after chance. And I know they have not arrested the suspect at this point in time. I understand that we don't have the criminal history, but the idea that somebody just graduates to shooting somebody to death over merchandise from nothing, from law-abiding status, is very unlikely.
Police said just after 10 o'clock on Friday night, someone shot the guard inside the store as he tried to stop a person from taking merchandise. Police say James died at the scene. Snow says her father worked at the store for roughly 2 years. He lived in a building right behind 7-Eleven.
I was protecting the family at 7-Eleven because I know how my father is. He would do that for anyone he cared and loved.
So what we're told from the daughter is that the father actually lived in the building right behind there, so this is his area, this is his community, these are his people that he was protecting, and of course he was shot over merchandise, and this is wrongfully described as a robbery. This was not an armed robbery, this was actually a shoplifter that escalated to violence as soon as this very large man confronted him because he was stealing from the store. Just for those of you who think, oh, well, shoplifting is an unviolent crime, it's no big deal, nothing to worry about. In reality, in actuality, as we've seen time and time again, and numerous times in the city of Oakland, these people escalate to violence when they get caught. They feel like they're entitled to steal, that they have a divine right to loot, and that right is guaranteed to them by Pamela Price, the district attorney of Alameda County. And we could see the proof of this throughout the city of Oakland because they do not prosecute people for shoplifting. In fact, fact, Oakland specifically missed a deadline for a grant to go after retail theft because it is not something that they're concerned with.
She and longtime customers described James as a protector and a kind man.
He was a great man. He was a very great man.
Now look, obviously the daughter in tears so soon after the death of her father is absolutely heartbreaking. I mean, again, she broke down in the parking lot of the store where her father worked for the past 2 years. This is right around where he lived, but you need to see the impact of this criminality so you know how evil it is to continuously go soft on these criminals. And by the way, we've seen this before where somebody goes out, commits a premeditated murder against a security guard. The Blake Mose case in Home Depot comes to mind. It couldn't be more obvious, and yet the charges do not come up to the level of the criminality. Remember, a woman in that particular case wanted to steal a power drill or a charger for a power drill from Home Depot. Mose stopped her. She went out to her car with her boyfriend and her baby in it, by the way, grabbed a gun and shot Mose in revenge for him stopping her from stealing from that store. These are who these criminals are. This is what they do, and this is why it is incumbent upon all of us as a society to make sure they are stopped before they graduate to the level of murder.
James is the good person, good for the community, and this guy, help to everybody and take care of everybody here.
He was a nice man, giant man, pretty tall, he would talk to everyone that came in.
Now, I also think it is incredibly interesting that you see a diverse group of people talking about this man, not only in this segment, but in the next segment, how much they loved him, how much he was a part of the community, how much they were tied into this 7-Eleven, the regulars. Anybody who lives near a walkable 7-Eleven knows this kind of situation, and they're absolutely devastated about this. But this is a pattern, as I said before, and I think it is important for you to see those other various crimes so you can understand how prominent this pattern is in the city of Oakland.
Criminals have repeatedly targeted 7-Eleven stores in Oakland. On Monday, investigators say someone killed a man pumping gas at the International Boulevard store. 2 weekends ago, witnesses say 8 gunmen robbed a cigarette delivery driver and a security guard in front of the Grand Avenue 7-Eleven. And a few months ago, a gunman robbed the MacArthur Boulevard 7-Eleven of cash and cigarettes.
And right here, as I said, you see all of these various instances of people robbing 7-Elevens. They're usually targeted because this is a store that's more likely for people to use cash. In that particular incident, the second one that they showed, they were actually robbing the truck, the security guard, and all of that, in what was obviously a coordinated robbery effort. And this is what is going on in the city of Oakland as crime has been left completely unchecked. And by the way, one of the things that I find incredibly interesting through that report that we actually went over briefly in a previous video on this channel that claims that shoplifting is down is that cities like Oakland, like Philadelphia, and many of the various cities that we cover on this channel were suspiciously excluded from that analysis. So in order to make the case that shoplifting is actually down, not up, they grouped together 24 cities of their choosing. When that didn't work out for them and it actually showed shoplifting was up, not down, they then decided to remove New York City from the equation in order to get the numbers that they wanted. But even their selection of cities shows an incredible bias because they don't include many of the various cities that we talk about consistently on this channel.
Oakland is danger right now, so needed to change.
Snow says her mother, Julie, died 10 months ago. She has few family members left. She wants justice.
She died 4 days before my birthday. And I just found out from my little brother that my dad died.
Now, like you heard from the victim's daughter in this particular instance, her mother died 10 months ago, so she's lost both of her parents in a very short period of time, and that's absolutely devastating. But what really ticked me off was this final point from this local news reporter.
Investigators have surveillance footage of the killing, but so far no arrests, and they did not release any suspect information.
So there is surveillance video. This guy is out there. He is on the loose, yet the police are not releasing even a description to the public, which I find incredibly tiresome and ridiculous because we tend to know what the suspect looks like based on the police acting in this specific way. Now, a couple of days later, the surveillance video was released. I'm going to show you that. I'm not going to give you a graphic content warning because the local news affiliate that obtained this surveillance video cuts before any weapon is fired or anything like that. But what I want you to know is that this is a low quality quality surveillance video. And of course, there were other people in the 7-Eleven because James was the security guard. So there were other staffers that were in there, clerks and whatnot. And even with this grainy surveillance video where you can't really glean a description of the suspect, they're still not releasing a description.
In this surveillance video, acquired by CBS News Bay Area, you see Johnson, that's him by the door, exchange words with the suspect in the aisle. It looks like the suspect is holding something. Seconds later, Johnson throws something at the suspect, and the suspect shoots him and runs out the door.
So this is the surveillance video right here. As you can see, it is incredibly low quality. You can't get a good description of the suspect from this video because he's covered basically from head to toe, and you can't really see anything about him other than that he is a male. However, this video, accompanied with maybe a description from a clerk that the police would have, could eventually ultimately lead to the capture of this individual. However, that's not being put out there in the public. All we have to determine as citizens concerned about our communities, concerned about the community of Oakland, is this grainy video that might have been leaked to the local CBS affiliate. And yet, the police aren't releasing any other information, and believe me, this is not a situation where they're withholding specific information in order to make sure they nail the guy. They're not releasing information on a suspect that is still at large, that is armed and dangerous, that just killed a man over whatever donuts or Slurpee or whatever the hell he was trying to steal from that 7-Eleven on that particular day.
Parker described him as a good man, someone who always made you feel welcome.
You know, he was one of those who as soon as you walk in the 7-Eleven, greeted me, but, smiling, just feel the energy.
Now, a bunch of residents had come out in this location to add to a memorial. They talked to the local news about how much they love James, and you can actually hear the fear of these people who thought they were in a particularly safe neighborhood because up until a little while ago, it wasn't that bad over here, and how some of them won't even go out in the evening anymore.
About 3 or 4 months ago, I decided no matter how much I wanted something to snack on at the night, I'm not going outside. It's not worth it.
And again, what we see for a second time is a diverse cross-section of people that absolutely love this guy and fully condemn the criminal in this particular instance. But I gotta play this closing thing for you because even though I spoiled it in the open, even though I've repeated it a bunch of different times, I want you to hear the asinine statement from the Oakland PD that was delivered to this local news when they asked about the suspect, when they asked about the search, and when they asked for a description.
The Oakland Police Department was unavailable for an on-camera interview about the investigation. A spokesperson told me the search for the suspect is ongoing but did not provide a suspect description. Anyone with information that could help out with this investigation is urged to contact the Oakland Police Department.
And those series of sentences are what really got under my skin. Those 3 sentences really pissed me off. The Oakland PD, not available for an on-camera interview, standard, normal, whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. The fact that they are still looking for the suspect, but they're not releasing the description, but they want you guys out there, if you have any information, to reach out to the Oakland PD if you think you could help in any way. Well, you would get more information from more people if you got a general description of this individual. Can we get an age range? Can we get a height range? Can we get something? This person just murdered a 7-Eleven security guard, a 59-year-old man, over merchandise. He is clearly armed and dangerous, likely to reoffend again if he hasn't already, and you're not giving us any information. You're not asking the people a good ask. This is not a good favor to the community. This is not serving the community. You want them to somehow glean from this surveillance video that likely you didn't want out in the first place, that likely it was just given to the CBS local affiliate by somebody who works at 7-Eleven, but you're not doing anything that might jog a memory, that might make people more familiar, that might assist them in being able to provide that information so that they can lead to an arrest. This is what happens when you have a completely unserious city when it comes to criminal justice issues. They've let these criminals run roughshod, run wild, and they think constantly about protecting their identity, their privacy, and their rights. But what about the rights of the security guard? What about the rights of the law-abiding citizen? What about the rights of a daughter who already lost her mother this year, who just lost her father due to senseless violence and dereliction of duty from not only the Oakland police, but from the district attorney's office, because we know that this guy is going to come up with a criminal record. We know we're going to have a history of this. We know we're going to see deferred prosecutions, lots of shoplifting, lots of other arrests, and nothing will have been done at any point to stop this individual. And by the way, we might even see felony convictions, because remember, in the state of California, unless you commit a super violent felony, because even what they call non-violent felonies are often violent felonies, you can't even be sent to prison. You have to be sent to county jail. The county jails are overfilled, and guess what? Those people are released easily from those county jails back on the streets to reoffend again, and basically told you can maybe come back and be taken seriously after you kill someone. Well, this person did kill someone. A security guard is dead, 59-year-old father, and they're still not taking it seriously. They're still defending the criminal, and it's pissing me off. Look, I wasn't going to make this about the Pamela Price recall petition, but you know what? If you're in Alameda County, if you're in the city of Oakland, sign the petition. Put your name on there, because Pamela Price is the author of your peril. She is somebody who will guarantee that this will happen over and over and over again, so you need to remove her from office if you have any hope of fixing these problems. How many times does this have to happen? How many security guards need to be killed specifically in the city of Oakland before people realize that going super soft on shoplifters, leaving it to the stores to deal with it, never having any police intervention, never locking these people up, leads to devastating results? The man was killed over merchandise. There's nothing even that valuable at 7-Eleven. Even if there was, that wouldn't justify the murder of this guy who's just trying to do his job. Yet they're still protecting the criminal. No description. Still, what is going on? Look, I'm done. That's all I got for you guys today. I'm gonna get too angry. Thank you so much for watching. As usual, if you like the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on the social medias. You know where the support links are. This has been me talking about Oakland being Oakland, I guess. Till next time.